How it operates, and this is just a quick cutaway of the product. So when there's a call for heat, the combustion fan will begin to turn. The PC board will make sure that the fan is turning correctly, and then it will generate a spark. Once it knows the spark is jumping over to its target correctly, it will open the gas valve. Of course, then we'll have flame and we'll start heating our sealed heat exchanger. Of course, this is just a sealed heat exchanger. It's aluminized stainless steel, and at this point now it's just really a hot hunk of metal, right? So once it gets warm enough, of course our flame rod will verify that the flame is there and it's correct. And then once the heat exchanger warms, the convection fan will turn on and start moving air across this heat exchanger and ultimately into the structure. We do have a humidifier tray. If you're in a drier area and you would like to keep this full of water, you can, and it'll keep the air a little bit moist. As I mentioned, our thermistor and our PC board are working together to set our firing rate, to make sure that we're not putting too much heat into the structure. And then when the temperature set point is reached, if needed, the gas valve will close. Of course, our flame will go out, and our convection fan will continue to run to cool down the heat exchanger and to get that last little bit of heat off of the heat exchanger. The key part of number 9 here is if needed. Remember, because it's continuous run theory, the thermistor is working with the PC board. It may only stage way, way down into its lowest setting and slowly put heat out. So it's not overheating that main room, but we're still getting heat, so it's reaching out to the outer portions of the structure. And then the process starts over as needed as well. Our control panel for most of the products you see here, you can see some of the different features. We do have 2 different timers that we offer on the product. Child safety and economy feature. We can override temporarily our timers if needed without losing our timer settings. And we have a setback feature as well. Working with the timers, you can use the setback feature to run at a lower temperature, maybe in the evening or when you're asleep, or perhaps when you are away and the house is not occupied, etc. So let's jump into the actual installation of the product. This is overall all of the tools that you would need, and you may not need all of these. You may not need the saw, and I'll show you. There's only one instance that you would. This product can usually be installed in about an hour, maybe 2 at the most, if your gas is already there and is available. It is not a hard install at all to do. Do we have anyone that's installed a direct vent before? I know we had a few people. All right, that's good to hear. I know New England is our biggest market for this product, and partially due because Jack Frederick and his group they've been touting this product for well over a decade. So that's good to hear. All right, so you can see some of the things that we need, and as we'll go through this today, you'll see some of the things that we're going to do today. This is what the product looks like when it is installed. And of course, when you get your box, and you can see I've got one here, you're going to get everything that you need to install this directly through the wall that it is installed on. Now, if you need to have your vent termination somewhere else, let's say you're in a basement, you need to run up and then out, we do offer extension kits, and I'll briefly cover those toward the end of this presentation. But if you are going right through the wall, we give you everything you need. Of note, we want to stress this, especially if you've been installing this product for a while. We used to give you a wall template for your venting. It used to be on a piece of paper in the box. It is no longer in the box, it's part of the box. And you can see this here, I've got the wall template here. So if you're installing the product, don't throw the cardboard away. Make sure that you cut this out if you need to use this. And you can see everything here, and we're going to have this out here in just a moment. In fact, I'm going to come around right now. When this box comes off, you're going to see inside at the top, all of the hardware that you see in here actually sits here at the top. And we'll go ahead and remove this. I'll just move this out of the way. And I tell you this because if you pull this up and off before you cut the template, I used to be over the call center, and we used to get calls occasionally where guys would just throw this whole thing away. And then they say, well, I didn't get any of the hardware. So always be aware of that. You're going to get everything you need is actually at the top of the box. And we'll go through this since this is empty here. I'll just put it here. Okay? And we'll be using that as we go forward. You'll have a hardware, a small pack of hardware inside the box as well, right here. And we'll get that ready to use. Now, if you are installing this product on carpet, we really want it to be on a hard surface. If our call center, and let me say real quick too, one thing that sets Rinnai apart is we have a 24-hour technical support call center for installers and contractors, if you're not aware of that. So if you ever have any questions on any of our products, please call our 800 number, and hopefully we'll be able to give you the support that you need. And that is for technicians and installers. The 24-hour line is. The consumer line is an 8 to 5 or 8 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. But if we ever get a call on a product like this that is either rattling or making a rattling noise, or a little bit of a knocking noise, the first thing we're probably going to ask is it on a hard surface and has it been leveled correctly? So we do want to stress, try to put it on a hard surface. Now I know right away you may think, well, that's not very feasible, and I don't want to put a big ugly piece of wood under this product. My consumer's not going to like that. So we want to walk through. In the shipping container itself, there is a piece of wood that is used just to firm up the shipping container. And you can actually use this, and I will lift this off of here. Take our plastic off. And we'll set this guy out. You can use this wood, and you can see as I'm doing here, and you can set the product on the wood and then score it just to the footprint of the product, and then install the product on it, and the consumer won't even see it. It will be totally underneath the product, and you can do that. We're even giving you the wood to do that. In fact, we've got one right here. This is a piece that's been cut large enough to accommodate what we're trying to do, is just mainly get it on a hard surface. So we'll use this as part of our installation. All right, and I have set my clicker down here. What? Ah, thank you. I'm the world's worst about doing that. All right, so you can see that, and that is the only time you would ever need the saw. If you're already on a hard surface, or you've already accommodated the floor for that, you don't need to use the saw at all. That's the only time we say you would need to do that. Our clearances around the product, I'm going to come around here and get out of the way. You can see on the sides we want a 2-inch clearance. In the front we would like a 40-inch clearance. On the top we want a 9-inch clearance, and that's just to remove the filter. That's not an actual clearance from combustibles or anything like that, but we want to be able to take this filter out. And that is a cleanable filter, stays with the product. 0 clearance to the back as well, and we want 10 inches on each side for future servicing. So you can put furniture around it, but just as long as you can get that out of the way in the future. Yes and no. It can be, you can, if you have a structure that will support the product, you can mount it on a wall. We really don't recommend going much higher than about a foot. We would say if you want to go on a fireplace hearth, because we get that call, that's fine. The thing to consider is this thermistor, and the design of the product is the thermistor is designed to be 2 inches off the floor to quickly anticipate heat loss. So the higher that you mount that product, you're kind of going a little bit against the way it was designed, but you can do it if you need to. Our clearance on the outside, this is what the termination looks like on the outside. It's only about this big. It's about 3 or 4 inches across, and it's aesthetically it doesn't look that bad. I've seen some of our competition, some other vented products. They're a lot larger. So 20 inches on either side, 24 inches from any flammable obstruction at the top, 12 inches above anticipated snow level or grade, 24 inches from an opposing wall, and then here are ANSI, our national standard here, 12 inches from grade I mentioned, 9 inches from a door or window that may be opened, etc. So If you have any questions in detail on any of these, of course, you can see me after we're done, too.